So words of blades that never fall, debated warriors brave. Every thought we give and save. In the ring we stand tall, words of blades that never fall, debate like warriors brave. Every thought we give and save. Through the noise we cut clean, spirited, mind sharp and keen. With a spark that lights the night, join us in this epic fight. Welcome to the Spartan Arena, where minds clash and thoughts clean. In the heat of every word, truth and insight will be heard. Buckle up and take your stance. In this arena, there's no chance to escape the fight by law. Dive in deep and search for more. From heartfelt talks to fierce debates, we explore what fate creates. Side by side we seek the light. In the dark our minds ignite. Welcome talks to fierce debates, we explore what fate creates. Side by side we seek the light. In the dark our minds ignite. Welcome to the Spartan Arena, where minds clash and thoughts clean. In the heat of every word, truth and insight will be heard. Buckle up and take your stance. In this arena, there's no chance to escape the fight by law. Dive in deep and search for more.
Spartans! What is your profession? This is Sparta!
What is going on, everybody? We're back at it with another show, with another stream. Tonight is a unexpected stream. I assume that most people have seen the news and what's going on. Before I go ahead and start talking about the serious situation, let's get my boy in here. So obviously the news has been broken. A very famous YouTuber named by Chris. Chris was
Charlie Kirk.
Thank you, Charlie Kurt. I'm sorry. I don't know why, Chris. I apologize, Charlie. Um, I think I was just talking to the guy and Chris on the phone before. Charlie was a very outspoken person, a very religious person, a father, a husband. He called people's bullshit on. He was wrong a lot of times. He was right a lot of times too. So it was kind of 50-50 with him. Depends how you what you believes in. But he stand behind his beliefs. Unfortunately, today during his comeback tour, like he called it, was a assassination attempt. I can't even say attempt anymore. It was an assassination. They executed him point blank. It's been reported there was assassinated. The bullet hit him in the neck, carotid artery actually. And I personally, I have seen that personally, almost a year ago, in October 30th, when that happened, to when I was shopping at getting food at Wawa, and it happened in there. It's something that you're never gonna forget. David, go ahead. What you guys say on this?
Ah, what's crazy about it when I saw it on my Instagram feed and all my social media feed, actually on YouTube at the time. Anton Dang got on live about it. Four Man Podcast, shout out to him, got on live about it. I knew it would be a tidal wave. My kids actually showed me the video for the actually incident that took place. I don't know how she got hold of it.
It's all over
And
YouTube right now. Is it ever?
I know it's all over YouTube. My daughter showed it to me. I saw the clip, and my reaction was like, "Oh boy, it is a topic that the whole entire country cannot overlook anymore, cannot turn their face away anymore, and it's getting tiring because there is a big picture to this thing. We were talking behind the team before we come on live, and thought I've been on my head about it for so long. I'm like, when is it gonna end? Because before this happened, let's walk back the last couple of one that did happen. Remember the politician who got shot in the ballpark among the Congress out of nowhere? Remember the judge who got shot in front of her home?
Hmm.
There's a lot of these incidents that taking place, and it doesn't happen in a vacuum. And it has become a point whereby I hate to say it, but we had a time where level of chaos is out of control. And this is why I would tell people you need to be careful who you choose as your leader. And speak on the issue we actually have and stop making excuses. If you're not willing to fix the problem, step down. Let someone who's willing to do it. But they're apprehend the person
Here's
who
my
did it.
thing, David. Here's my thing.
The apprehend person who did it. I get it.
They caught the guy.
But
Well, here's what I was gonna say. We always hear about these heroes. Heroes come in different shape, shape. I'm trying to say the fucking words. Different shapes, sizes, and all that stuff. Right? If you had put somebody's picture named the word patriot, this guy will be it. He was 100% a patriot. You can't deny that. You cannot.
and
So go ahead, David.
I would have to be careful about that because let me tell you why I say that. It's not coming from me alone. But when you don't see the big picture, it can be very, very muddy at that aspect. From point of view, your opinion, you consider him the patriot. Okay, your opinion. Flip side of that, a lot of people are not going to consider him as such. And I'll argue their opinion why. This is why I learned it from high school. My high school teachers, thank God, I don't know if you're still alive or not.
Mhm.
Careful what you say out of your mouth, but also hold your tongue responsible.
You know what bothers me about this right now, David? Not only he was a patriot, he believed in God, he believed in religion. I'm assuming it was marriage.
No, I no.
Hey,
Here,
hear me out. Hear me out. Hear me. Hear me out. Hear me out before you say anything. All right? Is us YouTubers? Doesn't matter. You don't get paid. You do get paid. It doesn't matter. Now we gotta have a target on our back, literally.
here where I will put a stop. I don't think it is a target on our back. It is a big issue. That is why I say people need to be careful.
Hmm.
Yes, he claimed to be a Christian. Uh, The Republican Party claimed to be a Christian party. Okay, fine. But as someone who is a Bible nerd, who has studied the scripture from the book of Genesis to the book of Revelation based on the characteristic, based on the biblical definition itself alone, Charlie Kirk would not be considered to be a Christian. That's number one. The Republican Party would not be considered a Christian. That's true. And many other people who are spouting they are Christian, but your actions say otherwise. That is the problem. My teachers say let your actions be aligned with your words. The term Christian is not a simple title that you can just wave in and will cover what you've been doing. The problem what Charlie Kirk was doing the whole time, even though he stand on family value, I get it and I appreciate that. But there's a part of what he been doing is make the what he say he stand for make his mission look muddy. That is where the issue come to play because when you say he considered to be a patriot, right? Don't forget the other ethnic group. They're gonna look at it say how he the patriot, but what
Okay,
happened?
I see what you're saying from the opposite.
It-
Let's say when he was saying he disagreed with trans for argument's sakes.
and this is why I say this is a very touchy topic. I'm not gonna put out words there. I'm not gonna do it. That's not something I do. I'm a nerdy guy. I deal with analytics. I deal with facts. I deal with data. I don't deal with emotion. Because when you deal with emotion for everything. It don't make you see clarity. This is why this is something very, very deep. It's not simple. It's not normal. This is why I told you before we went on live. If that particular law that expired, which don't make no goddamn sense, that a particular law they had in the book that Ronald Reagan let expire just so this type of care we have today exists, if that law was existing, none of this nonsense would ever would have happened.
Are we talking about Obamacare now?
I'm talking about the particular law that wherever you put it out in the airway is not true and they get fact checked. You can be
Oh, I
sued and
remember
held
that.
liable about that.
Yeah.
Ronald Reagan let
Yes.
that law expired, would allow the infamous network called Fox.
So hang on a second. I want to address one of his comments. People all around the world die for political issues. I don't agree with that comment, man. I don't think everybody dies for political issues.
Now, see what Seeking My Creator said. He's a professional grifter and pro troll have target. LOL.
I don't think it's
That
funny.
right there, here's the thing. People are calling Charlie Griff a grifter. I've been seeing it. I've been hearing it
But
because
you know what's one thing?
I watch the guy content. I watch his debate, and think
I did
about
too.
me, who a person who have been through a debate class back in high school and junior high have to state your facts and you have to state your source. You cannot fabricate your source. You cannot misword your source. You cannot make up things off the fly because if it's not validated, what you speak on it become void.
And you're right, David. I'm not going to
He
argue that.
he got destroyed in the UK when he did that debate.
Again, David, I'm not arguing that he's not perfect.
I'm not saying you're arguing. I say I like to listen to the podcast, listen to argument, and what I normally like to do, I like to close my eye, listen to every single word. And something that I don't comprehend, I will go online and research it, comprehend it, and understand the actual source of it. Right? They call him out and told me the lie he had been spinning for years, and they were telling him, "I know in the U.S. you don't have the type of format we had over there, whereby you can get fact checked and you can call you out, and the man will let you know, yes, you are lying, Kurt. This has been validated X, Y, and Z."
But you know one thing about him, David. Like if he was wrong or right, that's a whole different story.
I
But
know,
if he
but I
believes something, hang on. If he believes something was right, he will have the debate. But he wouldn't be screaming and yelling like most other guys.
I
He
know,
would had a conversation, and that's the where I'm coming from with this man.
and I get it. He had been doing that for. He wasn't always screaming.
He
I
never
know
screamed.
that. I know that he don't scream, and I seen how he went about it. But here, where my nerd, my nerd mentality come in and kicked in. You have been confronted with the truth several times. You have been shown the source and the information, and you ignore it, and you continue to expound on the lie you've been pushing. The problem with you. That's what I'm saying, because as a person who got into debate since junior high school, if someone debate me about something and prove that what I'm saying is wrong, and I've given the source and information, and I don't make a acknowledgement, you know what, I was wrong, you are right, then I will go back and repeat the same thing. That means I'm just didn't
But
care about.
see,
I'm not.
here's
No, no.
where
Hold on. Here. I'm not speaking out of emotion. I'm speaking out of detail and fact. Charlie could have a track record of doing that.
everybody has it in a way, David.
I know. No, everybody had them. Those who had them are getting caught out on that thing. But very few people who have been consistent stay consistent, and no one pay respect to those people who be consistent about it. Consistency is key. But we in society that we have so many megaphone loudmouth who are not consistent should not give it a time or day to be out there speaking when they're not consistent. This is something I've been trying to explain. This is a problem that have been brewing over time. When this thing goes on, how much further do you got to realize that it's becoming very dangerous? We're in a very society right now that, as you said, our First Amendment have been put in question, but it have been put in question for the past decade. It didn't happen overnight. It have been put in question for the past decade. For some apparent reason, get scrutinized for speaking the actual fact or truth. Either you on the Republican side or the Democratic side. That is the problem we have in today's society. When you are shown proof with the truth, there are people out there who refusing to acknowledge the truth and saying, you know what, you are right. Educate me more about this. Instead of, okay, you're right there, and you brush them off, and weeks later, months later, you're doing the same exact thing that you were caught out what you were doing before. Even though yet you have some good talking point about the value you stand for, yet you have muddy it with something else with it. This is something I've been taught as a young teenager becoming an adult. We have to be careful what we say out in the public, regardless where we stand on, regardless what belief we have. Is also critical. I hate to say this, it is super critical when you go out there claiming that you are a Christian and your actions speak otherwise. Because there are people worse than me who are vicious Bible thumpers, vicious Bible scholar who not only study the Bible that we have, but also the original Bible that contain 88 books, not 66 books, and go in and out and read the scroll, and they will know when you are twisting the words for the wrong reason.
Roman Catholic
It's
do it
a,
all the time.
I know Roman Catholic was known for that.
Yeah. So, like, if you really want to use that debate for
No,
against that,
no,
like,
Roman Catholic had been called out for their nonsense
yeah,
already.
like for example, I was going to say, David, is like if you really want to follow the original practice of Jesus Christ, God is the head of church, not the Pope.
I know.
And we believe the Pope, and that is wrong. That's a different. That's why between the
Uh,
Orthodox and
and
again
and it,
Orthodox and Roman, you have Roman, who are wrong. And no offense to anybody who believes Roman, but when it comes to Orthodox, we're the true first religion because we still follow the original practice of Jesus Christ.
I like Mariana's statement.
Yeah,
That is
sure.
very good.
When
When you are,
you want to read it,
I'll
go
read
ahead.
it. When you are able to debate freely in this country without getting hurt or getting killed, this question had this country. No, that you're correct, Mariana. I've been thinking about it for more than a decade.
So, what I was going to say earlier, and I kind of talked in the background a little bit. Johnny Q, he's a big, he retired cop, big Second Amendment, First Amendment, Christian, whatever. He said to her, he put a video out 2 hours ago saying, "Hey, this is opens a can of worms right now for everybody, not only for the government because the government dropped the ball big time on this one. Obviously, they've already caught him. He's in custody. Blah blah blah. Like Kenny said it before. Um, whatever. We might disagree with his comments, but he got caught. Was it assassination? That has been confirmed. But here's what he said. He said, and I agree, and I think you're going to agree too, David. We have drifted so far away from being Christians, number one, or whatever religion you believe. The old school way. You know, freedom of speech. You don't hurt anybody. You just have, like we are talking. We might disagree on some of this, how he lived his life. That's fine. That's not our opinion. We're not here to judge that. But okay, for example, like on Hangout, we have debates all the time about different characters. We don't scream and yell. We have professional or mature discussions. And that's one. The freedom of speech is going to be questioned a lot right now.
That is true.
Second thing is going to be questioned, and this politicians love when this shit happens. Is let's take away the Second Amendment right. That's the first thing they're going to go after.
But here's the problem. It's not a matter of taking this Second Amendment right away. This is where what have been spoken several times has been ignored. It had nothing about taking away the Second Amendment right. It had nothing to do with that. This is why I hate when people do that. Not that I ask the same question. How many people have been studying the Constitution properly?
Nobody.
No, that is my point. This is where when you go speak things, please speak as if you actually took the time out and you studied the documentation from start to finish in full clarity so you understand what it means and what it stands upon. That is one. Two, they're asking for common sense gun law.
Gun laws don't work, David.
I know you say it don't work, but here's where the problem comes to play. It doesn't work because it's not being done uniform across the state, which is very, very true. I get it, I understand it, but what have been put out have been proving what I said is the
Okay, so
problem. No,
here's the thing. I have. All right,
let me paint the picture because it's better we paint the picture than this do this
go
circular
finish what you're saying.
argument
I'm gonna
and
throw a
it keep on repeating
caveat.
itself because first and foremost, we have few states who are practicing solid gun law to make sure eliminate the level of gun violence. And yet other states who decide to say F that we do our own thing. You we not reduce it, we don't need one. But here what I saw, which on Roland Martin official shout out to what he did, he showed something that took place in Congress today. It showed a level of contradiction in the Republican Party. I don't want to hear nothing but the Republican Party say about fixing this violence because you don't want to do nothing about it. Said, and I quote, let's paint the picture. If you're okay with the president enacting not only ICE, but a National Guard in DC, then you should do the same thing with Louisiana, which is the second highest state with the most crime and murder rate in the country. That should be a, that should be allowed in your own state. If you don't allow it in your state, why should you speak on DC? It's a state that have weak gun law. The murder rate is high, and people are fearing for their life far more than it is in DC. This is why I say I'm not going by emotion. I'm going by facts. I'm going by data. I'm going by rationale. Because this is where the problem comes to play. Because we're the only country that have gun issues. Other countries are not going to what we are going to. Whereby you're now have to buy a bulletproof backpack for your kids. If that has to be the case, then it's better for you to leave this country and let y'all burn yourself to the ground over your foolishness because you want to do tick for tack and not fix the problem at the source. Let's stop the nonsense because this one say perfect example. I'm not putting this. I think this in America. It's going to happen in America. But recently they say the citizens. I didn't say the congressman. I didn't say the people. I didn't say the elected officials. I say the citizen. That is the people who live in that particular country named Burkina Faso are telling reporters that they don't want to hear anything about election to a man who's actually doing the work that's serving the people more than politicians who like to discuss problem but not look for solution and a lot of things fester for so long. This is happening on another side of the world. But we have politicians who play political theaters, but yet the solution is very obvious, but you don't want to do nothing about it. This is not the first time we've seen people of prominent figure getting gunned down. They have been going on for a while. They say gun law don't do nothing. Depend on what? If one state is doing it properly and another state refuse to do
Okay,
it,
so first of all, I'm gonna check. I'm gonna check you right now. So you
okay, go
said
ahead.
we're the only country that has issues with gun laws, right?
The highest gun, the other country that have the same level of gun violence that we do.
Okay, we're not actually. Brazil, Mexico, Colombia are actually higher than us.
Yeah, and gun is open. Yeah, they don't have gun laws.
Yeah. So I'm gonna check you again.
Okay,
So every time you add another restriction to the law, you're pushing more guns on the black market. People don't realize more you squeeze, more legal guns come out. It's been proven studies to that. You can look it up if you don't believe me, David.
I know because
So
they're
every
not.
time they put a restriction, like they say, okay, let's get rid of the ARs, for example, because they say their AR stands for assault rifle. It doesn't stand for assault rifles. First of all, you're a fucking idiot, whoever thinks that. AR stands for um, air return valve, some shit like that. So every time you add in another restriction, like, oh, you only can have a 10 clip magazine, for example, or only 3 clip magazine, whatever the case is, they're going to be illegal. You still can get them. Silencer, a great example. Some states can have them not. The issue with the gun laws are they're not going to work. As much as you want to prove it. Back in the 60s and 70s, when gun laws were almost nothing, we had almost zero gun violence. You know why? Because everybody had a gun in their house and protected themselves. Nobody's
Okay,
going to break into somebody's house because somebody's going to get blown up with a shotgun.
okay.
I know
But
sheriffs, I know cops who said we should go back to those old laws because they worked.
okay, but since you gonna mention that, right? I look up country with strong gun laws and low gun violence. Japan, Australia, United Kingdom, Germany, Ireland. Trump favorite, which he hoped that they will come over here.
So
Norway.
I
No,
would
no,
say
no,
the issue.
I hear you, but you had to hear the flip side. Norway, the country that Trump likely be spouting during his campaign, have the lowest gun violence. South Korea is also the midst of that. So I get what you're saying, but
So
these are highly civilized countries. When you
yeah,
mention
no,
those
I'm not
stuff like
arguing that. What I was going to say, all right, when it comes to the firearm laws, we forget one major thing. Do you know how this, what's one thing this country has been evolved from the day this country has been born?
gun, I know.
Bingo. They're never going to take that away because in our Second Amendment, right? As much as, thank you, Wally. That's what it was. Um, that's what it stands for.
I'm a light rifle,
Yeah.
and I get that. But here's the thing, though.
No, what I was going to say was the Second Amendment right, what stands for uprising against the government, against a dictatorship. That's the point of it. But we went so left or right or upside down with that now. Like that's even like a buddy of mine who's in the service has told me these men rights, they're so absolutely, it's not even funny. You're talking about stuff like back in the 1800s that they don't even exist anymore. Have to get updated to 2025. You disagree with that?
I get it, but here's the thing. We're not. Here's where, if I want to do with history, we're not the only nation that started with guns. Think about it. We're not. If you want to go down to history, where were guns actually first created? Created a gun in the first place.
China was the first gun created.
Was it China or the European? Because
With China. With China. I'm telling you right now, with China. I'm pretty sure. I'll look it up right now.
look up right now.
China. I was right. In the 10th century.
Okay, you're right. Gun was built in China. Ironically, gunpowder was built in China through the 9th century. That's 800 CE. Then from the 10th to the 12th century, the fire lamps were built. Then it was spread to the Middle East and Europe to the 13th century. Then the 14th century was Europe. The development of modern gun in the 15th, 16th century, the Mark gun was invented. A burning wick lit gunpowder. I think that was
So
I
the first
believe
gun wasn't actually a gun, believe it or not.
it
It
wasn't.
was more like a scare tactic to scare people away. You know, like a firework almost. But they realized, oh, this actually takes people out. So the gun was literally a you play Assassin's Creed, right, David?
Yeah.
You don't remember Assassin's Creed when he had one a firearm on a forearm and he's just pulled the string? Similar concept, pretty much. Not exactly the same thing, but similar concept.
I believe when I say this, even though we didn't create the gun, there's other nations who benefit from the gun far more than the U.S. started to use it. But somehow they figured out a way to turn things around. So I cannot make an excuse. Oh, I'm sorry. Do the history of gun manufacturing, how it got created, how it got started the way it is right now today. Can't tell me other nations didn't figure out the solution to the problem and bring the chaos down to a certain minimum. And you can't do the same. South America is a whole different conversation on its own.
We're kind of coming completely off.
I know, but the political environment about South America is not something going forward. There's a history behind that. Look what I learned about when you study the history, you understand why it came to where it is. Same thing with this country. As a Canadian born Nigerian living in the US for more than 30 years, one thing I had to do is understand and study the history and the nature of this country first before I can speak on anything. And when I started to study, I found there was far more history that was kept away from the book on purpose because, one, it seemed to me it had been shown no one liked to be criticized for having their hand on it or contributing to it. That is why did a term called whitewashing come into play. When you look for the real unfiltered history of what took place, what happened, someone will be judged for it. Someone will be held critical for it. Someone will be held blamed for it. The problem is the word that is dangerous in this country today is called accountability. That is the most
Eh, eh.
dangerous word in this country today. You might get blasted off for that word account account. How you sure that we're not gonna get censored? Let's be real here.
Mhm.
That is the most dangerous word right now today in the US. Accountability. Either side want to own it. Let's be real here. If we talk about the First Amendment speech, let's walk it back. When you at the time say the two sexes that you know is male and female, they talk about getting people expelled from school. Did we not forget about that part? That was the extreme left when they actually were wrong in doing that. And now I went to the extreme right. What do you think gonna like? Come on. Are we gonna be stupid here? Are you gonna play boo boo the fool? Are you still stuck in your fourth grade level of reading the English language right now? Are you serious?
Well,
It was
yeah.
bound to happen. If anyone say what ain't bound to happen, then I think you must be an elementary school dropout, not a high school dropout. I'm gonna call it out. This is our problem here. We have an issue of accountability. We have an issue speaking the actual unfiltered truth. We had an issue to understand people's differences. Everyone is not the same. That is factual. Can I do is spill light on one group of people and not expect them to push back. This has been going on for long enough. As a
This has been a
person like
problem
to,
for years, bro. And like, this is not a today problem. It's been the firearm
I know,
laws has been a problem for years and years and years
I
and years.
know, there is a bad batch of gumbo soup that the wrong chef got into the kitchen and kicked you out and locked the door
I'll put it
and
this
put
way:
a.
every
Let,
100
let me, let, me,
guns.
let me finish the chef. You were the chef at the time. They kick you out. They took over your gumbo cooking. They put the wrong spices, ingredient. Keep stirring it. Keep stirring it. Keep stirring it. While they say you're gonna take a vacation before you come back, the kitchen blow up. That's what we having right now. Make
So
sense?
what I was gonna say was every 100 guns are on out there in regular human beings. All right, like me and you. Right? There's only 1% that actually are used for breaking the law. 1%.
I know.
And
I'm
that
aware
one
of that.
percent keeps like um law abiding citizens a bad name.
And I'm aware. I am aware of that. But when they were talking about having proper gun law, that before you purchase a gun, they do a thorough background check on you,
They
meaning
do.
your. But some they push it, some they don't push it. This, this have been. I'm not a politician,
I'm
and
telling you,
those.
in every state, any state, you need to pass a background. Now with the digital market, everything's computerized. Obviously,
Here's the
like
thing.
state of Pennsylvania, for example, you just
I
need
don't-
a be 21 within within a driver license to pass a background. It's instant. Literally call. They get on the computer. They put your information, and they go do 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 ding, and he tells
And
you
here's the
deny or not.
problem. I would agree with you with that play, but Mandro, who is a friend out to this network, who the former military guy, special forces and everything, he says something don't push it. And he had went to those places and they don't do background.
Texas, for
And
example, doesn't push it as hard for
and that
rifle,
but
not for
this is the
handguns.
problem going across the country. Not everyone is pushing the
Okay,
same
David, I know
policy.
people. I'll give you a great example. I'll give you a better example why gun laws don't work right now. Okay. Let's say you have a record. All right. Let's say, I don't know, you got in a fight and you beat the shit out of a person with attempted murder. Okay. That disqualifies you to own a gun at the point, correct? Yes or no?
Should
That disqualifies you to have your wife have a gun. So you can have your wife buy it and you still have your guns.
I know. That also apply the same thing with domestic violence. This is the same thing. I'm telling you, I've listened to this conversation, I've listened to this debate,
And then you have
and believe me,
back. Here's the other argument that with the DV is how many women lie out there says they hit the men hit them and they never did.
and I know because there's a law that not hold women accountable. This is what I've been trying to point out. There's not a balance put in
It's
place
not ever going
in
to be a balance on this,
the
unfortunately.
reason why and the reason why there's not be put up there's not gonna be a balance, but they don't want to be a balance. Let's be real here.
So, like
Let
for example, David, like me and you are arguing about this right now, right? You disagree with gun laws are need to be more stricter. You're saying correct?
uniformly across the board, not just here and there. When
No,
they
no,
spot,
I understand that. I'm not arguing that. My question to you right now is: do you think they need to be stricter than already are?
I'm not saying they're strict enough. It's not being implemented properly across the board. I'm I'm a technical. No, here's the thing. Here the problem with me. People don't understand how I operate. As an IT professional, as an IT technician who have been in the field for more than 2 decades, and in 22, 23 years, we deal with data, we deal with information, we deal with facts. When something is not properly implemented across the board, meaning you only implement it here, but you don't do it here, only implement it here, don't it leave it would call a loophole for disaster to happen.
I'm not
It's
going to
like
sit there and
it's it's
argue
like
with you
it's like
saying
it's like running
every.
a software.
I'm not going to argue with you, David, saying they should have different laws in every state. I think that's fucking retarded. I think
And
every
that's what
state
we have
should have
and that's
exactly.
what we're having right now
Yeah,
in the country for the
but
past decade.
if you add in more, you get it more stricter. Like New York are very most strictest gun laws out there right now, in California. That now you have more illegal guns on the market. So you say like lose win win. You're not gonna
It's
get
not a,
all the guns off the market, bro. You
no,
can't.
it's not a, it's here where the issue comes to play. I'm being technical. I'm not going by emotion. They have nothing about saying if you do stricter in one thing, we have more guns in the market. Here's where the problem is. It is done on purpose.
How?
It's not about how, it is why.
Okay,
Because
why and how is it getting on
because
purpose? It makes no sense to me.
it's the same fundamental when talk about the marriage law. Shout out to the lead attorney. He said the marriage law, the children court law, is not a same across the state. Why is that? Why in one state it's okay for someone to put your name on the birth certificate, even though you never met the person and you had to pay child support, even though they put your name on another state, it's not allowed. But another state,
And that's
this is what I'm,
retarded. If
this
you
is,
never met the woman and she's pregnant and has a kid, that's not your kid.
yeah, but in one state they charge a man for child support, even though that they
That's
say
bullshit.
it's see, that's my point. Yet it's bullshit. But that is the bullshit that we've been doing in this American society for decades now. They're playing game on purpose. I'm not going by this is why I'm detaching my emotion from this argument. I'm taking like I'm operating like a technician. What is the problem? What is the error message? What is the solution for this problem? And how can I fix the system so it doesn't do the same hiccup again? This is how I'm approaching it. And when I see what the real problem is, the non-technical person don't want to fix the problem. Reason why? Because he's making money off the chaos.
That I'm not going to disagree. Of course, they're going to make money off chaos. Obviously, that's where makes
And
money.
that is why but it is. I mentioned several countries was very civilized, better than us, who don't have the problem we having. But life over there is better than here. Think
I'll
that, look,
100% agree with that.
hold on. But if I want to be factual, before gun came to the US, gun had been known in these people next to before it came here. So let's keep it real. You don't go by history and facts. This is why I said we having a circular argument in the country because no one wants to face the reality of it. This is a problem that have been done on purpose because people are not coming in on good faith, trying to address the issue at hand. But when continue to play this circular argument on purpose as long, they make that buck behind closed door. That is the issue we have. That's why I say, if you think the way I think, detach your emotion and look at the receipt, look at the report, and look at the issue like a surgeon will look at. Because what do surgeons do? Their job is to fix the problem. IT specialists, our job is to find a solution to the problem. Detect our emotion. Look what the source of the issue is. Find the error message, see where the error message is being produced from and what is causing that error message. Therefore, you have to look for a logical solution that not only will fix it, it is a solid fix or a soft fix. If it would be a soft fix, I still have to come back the next few days or week to see what's causing the thing to have a better performance or bad performance. If it getting better, I need to find a patch to make sure it be a solid fix. This is how we address issues. But when we address issue with emotion and not dealing with the real issue at hand, we're gonna repeat this cycle. This cycle has been repeated for a while. Let's keep it real. It has been repeated for a
With the
while.
gun laws, you mean?
The accountability argument, the gun violence argument, like, come on, this is not new.
So the gun laws and the gun violence thing, yes, you're 100% right. Is accountability? Yes, you're 100% right on that. But then you have people who live in like in an area, remote areas, and people try breaking their houses. So saying they can defend themselves now.
And I totally understand that part, and I totally get it. I'm not arguing that. There are laws that are saying yes, you can legally own a gun to protect your home, to protect your household. That is legally clear and that's legally correct. Because I saw a video that happened in Georgia where 3 young knuckleheads were trying to break into an older person's home and they got taken out. And the parent talk about, oh, just charge who? Your 3 knuckleheads shouldn't be wearing masks trying to break into another person's home thinking nothing not gonna happen. Like, come on, make
So
it make sense.
here's the statistics.
They,
I'll be honest with you.
they
Hang
are
on,
rational.
hang
No, hold on. They are rational reason to have certain things that implement in a proper fashion. If
on.
you
Okay,
want to be
here's the
a
statistics. I'll tell you right
okay,
now. Somebody breaks into somebody's house, they're not just gonna break in with a bat or an axe. They're coming with
I know,
firearms.
I know,
So
I'm aware of
yeah.
that, and I'm aware. I'm
So
not stupid,
no,
but
I didn't
it's
say that, David. Don't put words
okay.
in my mouth, please.
I'm not. No, I'm not saying you saying, but I think I'm not. I'm aware because in the society we in 2025, a lot
Mhm.
of home breaking, they're using guns to break in people's home.
So let's say you use your firearm in self-defense purposes. You shot him in the kneecaps, chest, whatever, right? All right. He lives. You didn't kill him. He lives, right? Now you have to prove to the cop that you were defending yourself.
And that's
In a
why
lot of states, hang on. Here's the best part now. Here's the best part. In a lot of states, they tell you you have to ask them to leave your house first. Oh, yeah.
and I'm now that you said that, let me ask you a question. The person who passed the law, put them in that situation until they will do the same exact thing. Can you leave my house? They're not. This is why I'm saying
Oh, I
we have
totally agree with you 100%. I'm not going to ask you to leave the
this.
house. I'm going
This,
to pop
this,
three in
no,
you.
this is what I've been talking about. I'm glad you mentioned that part because if I want to do people dirty and prove the level of stupidity that they're spewing out, the person who wrote that law, I want you to put that particular person in that same situation and make sure he do the same exact thing. Because if he does not do the same exact thing, then he should spend 40 years in prison for spewing that stupid ass law to begin with. This is why we have a society that is built on creating chaos and make money off chaos. I call it as I see it. I'm not beating around the bush for nobody because at the end of the day, if you want to play stupid, then we'll treat you like you're stupid. If you want to act retarded, and I will treat you like you are retarded. I'm going to stick on the fact and the data. Either you like it or you don't.
Yeah.
The problem with people think they're smart. In most cases, they're highly stupid.
Yeah. Wally, what's up, man? How are you tonight?
Yeah, I'm all right. So yeah, I'm only just gonna add just one comment on this because I really don't really care for this mostly because it's there's always the touchy things about this one way or the other. But and plus I don't even know what really ultimately happened other than the fact that he just got murdered. But yeah, I mean, just going back a little bit to where you have the conversation about like. It's like, okay, if you make it stressful, then eventually there's illegal guns. But honestly, at this point, or neither, if it's relegated. But my thing is, this is the thing that somewhere gets a little bit off for me, right? People say that it's relegated or it's scanned across whoever tries to purchase a gun. Honestly, I look at it as falsehood, at least from my perspective, just being in Florida, because of course of the past times of a certain person purchase a gun and magically starts freaking shooting in a school. So at this point, I mean, I'm gonna be honest, you have to start questioning even if someone has like, okay, you go into the computer, you go into the system, they give you their name, and then they're able to search your ID, making sure that you are who you say you are and everything else. But then I still ask one simple question: where did they get this gun? Because even if they were to put it in the system and try to buy it, you're not of age. So then, are the sellers then dirty?
Oh,
As far as
absolutely.
people,
Absolutely. I can tell you for a fact they're dirty.
well, yeah, but I'm saying the sellers that actually own a shop, not someone that's underground. I'm not talking about underground.
Broker.
Wait, so that right there is an issue in itself. So it's like, now, okay, well, and that's another thing. It's like, 'cause if you even do gun control, are you even doing gun control as far as a mass swap of looking at every gun store and saying, hey, or do you have your license? You probably ain't. So,
Gun license as seller or owning a gun?
Yeah. Well, not owning a gun, seller. I'm talking about someone that's actually selling.
Gun broker. Okay, I'm just trying to make sure. Okay, so my buddy Mark owned a gun shop in town. Now he moved to Texas because he makes more money selling guns down there. So going to him every month, he gets audited by the state, by the FTA, I think it is called. I think that comes in. Don't quote me on that. I'm not positive. That goes through his books. He has to write the serial number of the gun, the person's ID number. It has all this information.
Right.
So he can tell him to go get fucked. He does not need to prove that to him. Very simple. Because he technically needs a warrant for that. But because he does everything by the book, he doesn't have a problem. Here, go through my books. I have no issue with that. So most of those dirty sellers, like you say, because couple, somehow couple, during shipping, they get shipped by the mail. They're not getting any special shipping. They get shipped by FedEx, UPS, whatever. They may get lost during the shipping process. They're not on the streets. They're not like going to... Go ahead. I'm sorry, Wadi. Go ahead. I apologize for cutting you off.
No. I'm pretty much cut right where you were saying it, but this is what I'm saying. Like, it's pretty much a joke at this point. It's like you can't, like, it doesn't matter. It's put it control, don't put control, either which way. I mean, granted, don't get me wrong, right? At the end of the day, should everyone be cognizant enough to control their own guns and how they use their own guns, at least based on the primaries of the law? Sure, because again, Second Amendment is right there, right? Hey, fair game. But that's the problem. Again, you put an age restriction, but yet somehow even past the age restriction, still people are getting guns. Young kids are actually getting guns, not because this is their parents' own. No. It's because you actually were able to get one. And I think this is a constant thing. Like, it's neither you getting beat up and then you gotta get a gun and all this. It's one thing if you got a knife or something, but a gun and you're not even of age, how the hell you got a gun? Where you get it from?
And
good point.
And here the question: have you been surveying the South or how the gun store have been operating? Man, Joe mentioned a few gun stores in the South don't even follow the law. So this is not new. This is what I've been trying to point out. We cannot be like, we're gonna make PA different from Alabama. Alabama is different from Arkansas. Arkansas is different from Louisiana. Louisiana is different from Missouri. When you check every state and you do an audit every time to find out what the hell is going on, then you start to realize we have a real issue here.
Yeah, let me throw this wrenching issue. How the hell do we call ourselves united, but yet we're pretty much separated?
Oh, absolutely. I bet that's one thing me and David agreed on tonight. We've been disagreeing about this the whole night. But one thing I will agree with him is, like, the laws are separate. Like Florida versus New York, New Jersey, Texas, they're different. They shouldn't be be across the board the same time.
Oh no, I mean that's obvious. But then that's the trivial problem that goes on. It's like, how can you sit here and say you're united, yet you're ultimately separated? Like, again, because this is where I'm sitting here saying this is where it becomes a vast joke. Because even if it's like, okay, this state should vote, everyone in the state, or we're united when it comes to finally trying to vote for a president, even though we ain't voting for shit, in my opinion. But
here's the
this
joke,
is where
though.
we come divided, where we have to just separate laws and different ideas.
Here's the joke.
Like, what's the point?
Almost 13 years ago, I wanted to sell a T-shirt saying the divided state of America. And a friend of mine told me, you are crazy. I said, no. America been divided for a long time. Just like you need to have a T-shirt to point it out. It is obvious.
Okay, I'll give you guys a little I'll give you a little loophole that most people don't know about this. In 1968, they passed the act of 1968 of putting serial numbers on firearms. Okay, now if you buy anything before 1968, like 1966, for example, 1965, with no, you don't need a serial number, you don't need a gun license, you don't need to go through a broker. I can literally just hand it to you. You're here. Merry Christmas. A lot of pawn shops will buy firearms who don't have a gun broken license anything before 1968 because they're allowed to own that gun. Muskets, or the Wild Wild West guns, a 1911s.
Oh yeah, no, that I understand.
1911 doesn't count. Actually, does it count?
It probably does.
Yeah, it does count.
But yeah, look, but I'm not against none of those. Like it's whatever. But my thing is this. What I'm saying is this idea of we're gonna do gun control and everything else, and all this. Like, just stop fucking around with the people because you ain't really doing shit. You're just not. Like, this is becoming a joke that just constantly becomes a thing overall. But I mean, for the conversation of the guy, like I know of the guy a little bit as far as when he does the challenging amongst the left
Change my
wing
mind kind of thing.
Yeah, the left wing ideals, and hearing these young teens in the colleges and their prospectual ideals and or thought process amongst what's going on and all that. I mean, I don't really like. Yeah, I know him from that, and I've seen certain videos there and there. But if this is all because of a comment and you just struck a dude for a comment, then understand, ladies and gentlemen, we have literally went to a world where literally people just can't disagree and walk the fuck away. You literally have to fucking put a bullet in somebody.
Yeah,
I swear, brain scanning I think MRIs needs to be like very vital nowadays because at this point, what more left?
No, I will give you guys one thing. I do think you should go through a psychiatrist before when you're going through it should be a more stricter application process to receive a gun license to own a gun. So I think you should go through a safety course because a lot of states don't do that. I do think you should go through a psychiatrist, make sure you're mentally stable to own that firearm. And I think it should be an inspection to your house. Are you storing your firearms correctly every so often? Like an audit, pretty much.
That was mentioned more than a decade ago. It was broke down in detail because they were mentioned on multiple levels. Domestic violence is also affected by gun violence. Certain people who are very abusive should not have a gun. To begin with, it's also mentioned by police officers who abuse their authority but are getting fired left and right from different police stations should not have authorization to own a gun. There were many things they brought down. No one wants to touch on these things. But you know why?
Of course not. We got shit.
Some people will lose their customers. Now, come on, let's be real here.
It's funny, David. I'll give you a good example. Okay, you guys, everybody knows I live in PA. Okay, people who move from New York to PA, we call this gun craze fever. Like remember the gold rush fever? Gun fever, we call it up here. You know why? Because there's a lot of firearms up here that you can own. I'm not talking about crazy, like a 1911 or a Glock, a handguns. They are going crazy buying guns, not because any laws, because they couldn't own that shit back in New York. Because to apply for your gun license in New York, you need a reason behind it. I'm a store owner. I'm a security guard. I am a gigolo. Whatever the case is, it has to be a legit reason why you need it in the state of New York. Am I wrong, David, or am I right? You're muted. You're muted.
No, you're not wrong. You're correct. But here's my problem. If I watch documentary and I see U.S. citizens who are leaving the country, living in other places that have proper gun ownership law and say, I rather be here than be in a place whereby people have mental illness to the point they want to buy all kind of stupid guns you really don't really need. Now, what do you need a gun for? What do we be? No, I'll be honest though. Talking to a person who lives in a country called the Dark Continent. Let that sink in.
I'll tell you right now, as a gun lover, why I need it? Because I like collecting guns.
Okay, you like collecting guns, that's fine.
I like going shooting. I like going target shooting.
Okay, you're not going. That's fine. There's some people who like guns for the wrong reason. It's why mental evaluation is needed,
Hey,
but they
when
don't
you said,
want
I'm
to
sorry, I
say
didn't
that.
hear that last part. I'm sorry.
There's some people like guns for the wrong reason.
I got that after that. You said
That's why mental evaluation is needed. Meaning,
I agreed with you with that one.
but that was mentioned several times. The problem is the NRA knows most of the people who buy their gun are they make money off those but they got money to throw away. So yeah, you're blocking
NRA
their
has
customers.
fallen so far from the trees, isn't it funny?
I'm
NRA
not surprised.
used to be a big supporter of rifles. That's what they stands for. American Rifle Association. They supported people. Now they are a politic. What's the word I'm looking for? They're politician now, and that's what they are. They're not a thing anymore. Like they're not used to be. They're not supporting for the firearms anymore. They're not. They support the firearms because that's what pays them to be in office. It's like a tea party. Simple. All right, David. Let's wrap it up. I think we did enough damage for one night about all this. But I want to finish. You go for your first final thought really fast.
My final talk will be very, very quick. Ladies and gentlemen, we live in a nation that don't like accountability in way, form, shape, or laws if you want to make it. Here, what happened today is a byproduct of it. If you want to stop this, then we need to change the direction of how we have this conversation. We have too many people don't realize you have been sowing the seed of hate without realizing you were sowing the seed of hate. And you claim doing it for one particular moral reason, but your conduct say otherwise. And the person who do such a thing, no one has the right to lose their life over a lie or anything they feel that they have been doing. I get it, I understand it. But if we don't deal with it or attack this issue firsthand, then we're going to continue to have this product either we like it or we don't. Because there are people who are using social media to put out their lies and their BS, but don't have the time to pick up a book and do a proper research on what the hell, speak on the raw fact and point out it in detailed format. But they have no ground to make an argument on it. Other than that, ladies and gentlemen, let's have this kitchen table conversation about what happened today or why it happened and what we need to do going forward as human beings. But if not, then I will say get your passport and do it where it's more quiet and not chaotic like this place. That's my final thought.
For once, I'm actually going to do a final thought. I don't usually do them, but I will say at this point, I think our freedom of speech is in jeopardy. Our freedom of right of bear arms is in jeopardy, and I think we're heading to a very dark time as Americans. We're already heading there. I think now this incident is going to speed up the process 10 times faster. I am scared to see what is going towards America. What I will say to the family that lost a father, a husband, a son, my heart goes out to you guys. He did not deserve that. Maybe we're going to disagree or agree. Do I think he was a patriot? Yes. I think he was a great role model for this country. You could have civil conversations. You may be wrong. You may be right. It doesn't matter. But you could have a civil conversation and not get into scream matches and look like an idiot. Except that that's all I have tonight, guys. Dave, you got anything else before we go, my man? No?
I'm just gonna say this. I'm glad I'm part of the Spartan HQ network because we can have this type of discussion and speak on all subject of the matter and speak with truth even though you may have different opinion, but respect one another. This is why I joined this platform. I'm not a person who into having circular argument, and we're not gonna be on the obvious reason why we are here. I don't like to be in a platform where there's no real clarity and people just build nothing based on emotion, but not based on solid, grounded facts. I want to be a outlier. I want to be a unicorn. I want to be an outcast and be part of society full of loony, but too blind to see the errors of their way. I'm not perfect. I never think I'm gonna be perfect. You ask me for my honest opinion, I'll speak what is based on fact and data, not based on emotion. I learned when you take your emotion out and start speaking of what you read and what you see, document, you start to realize there's a common thread that's been going on for a while that too many people are overlooking. Sometimes you need to take off your glass and just bring out the perspective to emotion and look at it clearly like a doctor. That's why I like STEM cell profession. The medical doctor, the surgeon, the IT specialist, the engineer. Our job is to find solutions for a problem that will keep society moving. Rip out our emotion, put it on the side, and we focus on the problem at hand. And that's how I'm addressing this problem. Don't have the mind to do such a thing. Don't get into the type of conversation with your emotion. And you're grabbing your panty like a little kid. That is not needed. On that note, this is a great topic, a very interesting topic. I would suggest every mother and father to have this kitchen table conversation, their family concerning this thing, because this is not a normal thing. I've been brewing long enough. Now you gotta ask yourself this question: what do you stand on? What do you believe? What is your belief system based on? Belief system based on a weak foundation, then all me, you need to start changing it.
Yeah. So really fast, quick schedule update like we always do. Tomorrow will be a show with Coach and Paul. First rep, the beginning guide to the gym. Check it out, guys. I'm gonna if I didn't have to get up at 3:30 in the morning, I would have actually joined that guys with that one. Nothing on Friday. We're gonna have a day off. We'll be back on Saturday. Zeus versus
And
Odin.
ladies and gentlemen, we are still working on what will our show be on the anime unlock. Waiting on Wale's point of view, how we go about it this next round. Other than that, we're not trying to run away from this, but I am looking for a female co-host to join the panel. We need another anime nerd beside me and Wally with a different point of view and angle. Yet I can be shady to Sailor Moon. That's why it's good to have a female counterbalance. So in case I go off the hinges, she can say, you're wrong. This is what it
Mhm.
is. And that's why I like having the debate environment where we can have good, interesting conversation.
Yeah.
Don't be scared.
All
I'm
right.
not gonna bite you.
No, Jesus Christ. All right, guys. As always,
I got my beer shot already.
too soon for that comment. As always, guys, this was a Spartan Institute. I am the Spartan. He is Black David, aka Bear Paul, aka Baby Bear, aka Dumbass over here.
Really, you
And
wanna
as
start that
always,
right now? Don't get me
stay
started.
blessed, stay safe, and I'll see you guys on the next one.